with our beautiful group now for our Tuesday Zoom meeting. And I have a few questions that have come in. So maybe we can address that today. Unless anyone here has a burning question that they'd like to specially request. Okay, then I'll go to it. So let me see. This is from a devotee in Colombia, Dina Dayal. Prabhu. I just finished watching the discussion you had about emotion versus devotion. And I remembered some doubts that have already come to me on other occasions. I would like to ask that you please talk at some future time. What is the reason for the existence of art? Throughout the centuries, the human being throughout the entire planet has resorted to art to sustain their existence and continue searching for meaning. What is behind that? If this world is a perverted reflection of the real world, is there art in the real world? Okay, well, I love this question. This is, when we have a few others who've joined us, Berenice, is that a Kalindi? Not sure who that is, Bear. I think that might be Kalindi in SoCal, and another mysterious iPhone is also here. So this is a wonderful question. What is the purpose of art? What is the purpose of art? If this world is a perverted reflection of the real world, then everything that's in this world has its place or its purpose in a higher sense, right? So then how do we understand art? What is the in the highest plane, then what role does art play? No. Oh, Berenice is Vishnu Priya. Okay, from Tijuana. Wonderful to have you with us, Vishnu Priya.
Vishakha, let me just ask you, yeah. Ellie is on the waiting room, you know, Ellie?
Well, let's give him a chance.
Okay.
Not sure who it is, but let's hope for the best.
Okay.
It's not some weird psychotic person. Oh, okay. Oh, this is Anu Krishna. Oh, welcome. Anu Krishna is our hostess here in Arizona.
Oh,
okay.
Great.
And oh, welcome, Anu Krishna. Great to have you with us.
Hi.
And also Dana's joined us too. Wonderful, Dana.
Thank you.
So our question is art. We've had a question. What is the purpose of art in the spiritual plane? What is the reason for art? And if this world is a perverted reflection of the real world, is there art in the real world? So what is art actually? You know, art is exploring a finer world, you know, a world of play, right? There's the plane of like raw truth, you know, like there's the realm of justice, there's the realm of law, there's the realm of reason, rationale, and so on, right? There's like, you know, computer, right? The way a computer works, there's like logical calculations, there's that plane of existence. But then there's a finer plane, right? That you can't really make a formula for, right? That's the plane of love. That's the plane of play. That's the plane of art. You know, so like these mediums like art, poetry, literature, they are exploring this finer world, the subjective world. And we also have Brajamohini, Dandavat, Brajamohini Didi. look who's here. It's Brajamohini.
Yeah, Braja.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
So there's the objective world and there's the subjective world. And that's a higher world. The subjective world has a different law that you can't calculate, that you can't make a formula for. there's no formula for love, right? There's no formula for beauty. But it has, at the same time, it has its own laws. So art is something that is exploring that. And all of Krishna Leela is actually, you could say, about art. You know, what is the purpose of Yoga Maya? Yoga Maya, the spiritual deluding potency of the Lord, spiritual illusion, she's also the stage manager of Goloka. Yoga Maya is the stage manager of Goloka. She's the art director, you could say, also. And she is directing things, arranging and managing things in such a way so as to facilitate this exploration of the subjective plane of love, emotion, feeling, beauty. You know, everything there is about art. You know, everything is being organized in a just so way, you know, so as to stimulate the highest type of emotion and feeling, love. You know. So like, you know, everything there is a picture. Everything there is art. You know, everything there is beautifully arranged just so as to maximize the experience of beauty. You know, like, so like for example, you know, to every last detail, you know, so that even the way Krishna's hair appears, right? Srila Sridhar Maharaj described it as agreeable negligence. Srila Sridhar Maharaj described Krishna's hair as portraying agreeable negligence. You know, because like, you know, if your hair is too neat and tidy, it's a little boring, right? It's like you see like kids, sometimes if they get some new sneakers, they like to like scruff them up a bit before they wear them, right? Because it's embarrassing if their friends see their sneakers are like too neat and shiny and squeaky clean. Like it's more fashionable for them to be a little roughed up, you know, or even nowadays they'll even sell ripped jeans. Like, where is the logic in buying ripped jeans? There's zero logic behind that. You know, like if you try to explain that to someone 100 years ago, it would not make any sense, right? So Krishna's hair, you know, Krishna's hair, it's a little messy. It's a little messy. Agreeable negligence. It's a little untidy because that's more pleasing, you know, to the eye. That's more aesthetically pleasing. And also in regard to this question, I was also reminded of this beautiful verse. It's one of the last verses of Brahma Samhita. Shriya Kanta Kanta, our Guru Dev Srila Govinda Maharaj loved this verse. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Jumabu Mischintamani Ganamayi Toyam Amritam Kataganam Natyam Gamanam Apivamsi Priyasaki Chiranandam Jyoti Tadapi. I can't remember the last couple lines, but it's a very famous verse in Brahma Samhita. No, where every step is a dance. No, where every word is song. Every step is a dance. Every word is song. The water is like nectar, toyam, amritam. No, everything there is art. No, everything there is beautiful and charming, you know, to the extreme. You know, this is what you could say, like, this is what Leela is. Leela means art. You know, Leela is art. That is being arranged. And Krishna is not, because Krishna also wants like the surprise element of things, right? Krishna also wants to be the supreme absolute. the Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. He wants to be surprised, the omniscient original source of everything. He also wants to experience surprise. So he's not directly arranging all of this, but he has his stage managers who are in the background arranging things just so, arranging things in just the way that they know will please him. So, you know, this is a world, you know, like I always like to quote this line of Oscar Wilde: all art is quite useless. Like this is a world, this is what art is essentially, right? It's a world it's not moving on the basis of utility or necessity or obligation, but it's exploring this finer, higher subjective world. This is what art is. This is what Leela is. You know, everything is being fine-tuned and arranged for the purpose of exploring this finer layer of life, you know. So, but here, and this is the other thing I was thinking, right? In this world, art is something that you'll put on the wall, right? Or you'll put on a table, you know, or you'll have on a screen. Nowadays, there's digital art's becoming a big thing. But in Krishna Leela, art is life. Everything is art. Everything's being arranged in order to best explore these finer things that art wants to explore. So here, art is a picture on the wall, but there, art is you walk out, you open your door and walk out. You know, that's what art is. That's art there. Everything is art there. You know, every movement, every sound, everything is so, you know, beautifully and perfectly expressed and representing, you know, highest degree of beauty and fine emotion. So, yeah, I mean, that's one angle. Then also, and welcome, we've had a few other friends join us, Somya Sham Prabhu and Vijay in Ireland, Dandavat, and Narottam Nitai is also here, Dandavat. Dandavat. That's one way.
I've never heard
These are
this
friends in
before.
Ireland.
This art. This is amazing. This is really inspiring me to listen to that. The art, I just walk into the art and I'm taking how art is useless. I love that because we are so trained to find use in everything and use and be abused and abuse, you know. So I love what's been said so far. This is really fresh. I've never heard that ever. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much for your comment, Gangalila. Wonderful. So that's one way of answering that. Oh, there's Jaya. I see Jayanta Prabhu in the background there. Dandavat, Jayanta Prabhu. Jayanta Krishna is there. And Austin. Dandavat.
Dandavat.
Your old friend Devi Shari is here.
Wow. Oh, did you do like a rejuvenating treatment? You went to the jacuzzi, special jacuzzi?
This is her natural beauty.
Oh, you look like 20 years younger. She's almost like you, look. You look like
I think she looks better than me.
You're like sister.
So this is one way of answering that question. And then also we can say that, you know, they also, the members of Vrindavan, they also use art in their service to Krishna. You know, it mentions in Brahma Samhita. I would recommend anyone who's interested in this, you know, read Brahma Samhita with the purports. It's mentioned there. It's mentioned in one place how the gopis, the divine damsels of Vrindavan, they use 64 arts are mentioned, special 64 arts which includes things like, sewing and painting and cooking in various ways and dancing. And there are these 64 arts which are mentioned. So they're all highly accomplished.
Can I jump in and say something?
Yeah, please.
So it reminded me how after Lord Krishna had killed Kamsa in the arena, then his family thought, his mother and father thought, we should get him an education. So they sent him to, what was his teacher's name?
Education.
That's what he said.
Sandipani Muni.
Sandipani Muni's ashram. And it says that he learned all the 64 arts like in 60 days.
Oh, really?
And it was like that hairdressing. It's really quite a revelation. He learned making sound with water, flowers, dressing bodies, like all these 64 arts, if you read them, that he learned them all.
Beautiful.
It's like we're not used to thinking of the Lord as a person, like just a much better person. We're people, he's a person, but they're just much better people. And the way he dresses, like in Krishna book, it's described, he puts his blue flowers behind his left ear, a bugle, like everything is an artistic expression. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much. So yeah, I love that. We forget that Krishna is a person, and as we may use many things of this world, so they're also doing that there. Krishna is also doing that. So he's also he's trained. I didn't know that Krishna was also trained in the 64 arts. So, they're also, using art and arts as a way of exchanging love, right? As a way of relating and sharing, beauty and feeling and all of these things. I'm trying to remember something that Gurudev mentioned once, how like they take it to the next level, like for example, Gurudev mentioned how they could make hundreds of preparations out of a potato, like they're like specially trained, and like in anything they can create something extraordinarily wonderful and beautiful and tasteful like that. Our Gurudev mentioned something like that. We had a question here. Let me see in our chat. Is Yoga Maya the same personality as Mother Subhadra, Krishna's sister, from Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra? Also, what is the relationship between Yoga Maya and Tulasi Maharani? Do they both help in arranging the pastimes between Srimati Radharani and Krishna? Things get a little complicated because there are expansions. And I don't really want to answer because I can't answer with full certainty. I believe I have heard that there is a connection between, that Subhadra Devi is coming from Yoga Maya. I believe so, but I would like to confirm that with one of our scholars. Somebody here may be able to say, but I can inquire to one of my scholarly friends. Yes, now Tulasi Devi, she has a form as a gopi also, Rinda Devi, right? And Vrindavan is named after her. And Rinda Devi, she has a part, it does seem like that, like she is also involved like in the stage management. And actually it's mentioned, it's actually my mother, her name is Divya Shari, which means divine parrot. And Rinda Devi, she's like one of her, it's said like she has this whole like troupe of parrots, right? Who they organize and they, many things, and she like gives instructions to them. And they, they'll relay messages, and they'll also sometimes be very playful and imitate voices and cause some chaos in that way. So yeah, she, as Vrinda Devi Tulasi, she does have a role to play like, Yoga Maya, perhaps working under her, assisting her in some way. But I don't know details of that. Yeah. Do you want to say anything?
What was the first question? Emotion or devotion?
That was someone was bringing up something from another class, but do you want to say something on that? Emotion or devotion?
I think that's a really important question for us and relevant. I like to think of it as, like, I study the art of war quite a bit. I've studied it pretty consistently for the last 3 years. And more is a theoretical, not in like a Tomasic way, but in a theoretical, strategic way. And one thing they have in the principle is that your emotions are a disease, that you should see your emotions and your sentiment as your enemy, that they're going to work against you. And because our life, it's a devotional life is a verb. And I have to say, I really learned, I've actually learned,
is a verb. That's
I've actually
wonderful.
learned from 2 people. Braja Mohini's one of them. And because I know her, and also Vishakha, that she's always been a worker. And Gurudev has a thing for workers. Like, it took me a really long time to understand that. And once Gurudev criticized me, thanked mercifully, and said, you sit in your room all day and think. And over the years, I've just put a lot of pieces together. Like, our mind should be investigative. Like, we should always be analyzing and scrutinizing, because we live in chaos. We're in the jurisdiction of chaos. So our mental system, we should learn how to think and look at the precedent, look at the history, look at the analysis. And it corroborates with that idea that your emotion, that crying idea, that feeling, like, it doesn't square up. Like, if you're not willing to work, to put it on the ground and make it work and go through the blood, sweat, and tears, then how much is that? What are those tears worth? Like, what is it worth? What value is that? You can cry all you want, but, walk your talk. And I have really seen, I've seen Braja, going through some inner stuff, but man, she will get up and do that job. And I'm like, chill out, take a spa day, watching Netflix. That's like my general vibe. Like, I'm spa queen. That's what I do. That's what, I'm not ready before noon. And I get up at 4 and I can't get out because that's my thing. But I have literally seen Braja, like, she's a worker. I've looked at Jamuna, she's a worker. He likes workers. They don't cry all day. They don't think all day. They don't cry all day. They got stuff to do. And I remember when Vishakha was like 12 or something, she wrote all over the house in a black marker, "I can do things." And I'm like, have you lost your freaking mind? Like, go clean it up then, clean the wall. But like, and I remember another time in Navadvip, I said, let me see your to-do list and see what I can help you with. This thing looked like a friggin' encyclopedia. It was an index. I'm like, my to-do list has like, go to the shop, come home, buy some potato chips. We were not between. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not exaggerating. This girl who looks so mild and looks so innocent and looks so light and fluffy and flower-like, her to-do list was like an index of an encyclopedia. And then I looked at how Jamuna would work. Like, Jamuna, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. They had to get a flight from Calcutta to London.
Wait, Jamuna was one of our Gurudev's personal servants. For some people won't know here.
Gurudev he really liked Jamuna. And this girl here, it is 4 in the morning and it's flooding. She had to go back and forth getting ready for this flight. Not only did it flood, there was a power cut, so the lights went out. Yet she's got to get Gurudev and crew from Calcutta, Dum Dum Park, to the airport into London. So she's walking in water, nasty old Calcutta water, because you know the Kund had over flooded. She's walking in waist deep water between Dum Dum Park and what was the other building called?
Sevak Bhavan.
Sevak Bhavan. 4 a.m, no lights. I said, that would be my exit. That's why I said, I'm going to get off the bus here. Like, I'm done. This is really not the life I wanted. I got to go. I'm sorry. I got to have a spa day. She arrives in London smelling like the Kunds, dirty. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then she gets dressed and doesn't miss a beat. This is devotion. It's work. It's like, it's a verb. She doesn't sit and feel, because you can read Krishna book and it's so beautiful and it makes you cry. I have a 2-hour Krishna book class I with myself every day, and it's beautiful. You can sit there crying. I'm like, stop it. Are you willing to work? If you're not willing to work, then just be quiet. Just listen humbly. It's like Gurudev said, karma and bhakti look very similar. And if you look at the hardcore karmis in the world, like I'm in this big university, very prestigious, 4 campuses. It's a big fancy, you know, it's a big deal in the world. They work. It's work. It's not fun. Nobody's going, oh, I'm having so much fun. It's work. This is our life. So I hope that answers the question, but this is how I figured it out. That are those tears in your feet, in your hands? Like, are they going to do something? It's like, you love me. It's like with husband and wife. The husband's like, I love you so much. Take out the trash. Not now. I'm sleeping on the couch. I'm busy. Anyway,
That was really, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Wonderful. And I really,
she really has inspired me. It took me this long to realize, oh, wow, I have to really work. Like, it's about work.
I really like what you said about how, you know, bhakti, devotion is actually a verb, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, actually, if you look in all of the ISKCON books, Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he never translates bhakti as devotion, like never.
Interesting.
He always translates it as devotional service,
Interesting.
and always. And
look at how much he works. Like, it's
yeah,
mind blowing.
yeah. And I mean, I actually get kind of annoyed sometimes because, like, the verse, like, if you look in the Sanskrit, it just says bhakti, which means devotion. But never in any single place will you find Swami Maharaj Prabhupada translate it as devotion. Never. He always translates it as devotional service, because he's saying this is like Didi's saying here, it's a verb. It's not just this fuzzy, warm feeling that you feel in your heart, but you want to do something. You want to make an offering.
Collecting in the pubs.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who goes into a bar for collection? I would go in a bar to drink. I would. Let's have a drink. I don't drink, but if I was entering a bar, that would be in my mind. I'm going to go and get puffed. I don't drink, don't misunderstand. But she goes into a bar, a nasty bar, late at night, and collects money
For Guru Day,
for the program. And then that's only the start of her evening.
Vishakha,
Yes,
you
yeah.
said the translation of bhakti, is that the word you were saying? The translation of bhakti, he translates as devotional service.
Yeah. If you look in just pick up any ISKCON book, any book by Srila Prabhupada, you'll see without fail, every single time he translates bhakti as devotional service.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, I care about you, so let me do something for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Srila Sridhar, she also gave that explanation. Love means sacrifice, real love. Love is not just, you know, oh, I love pizza, you know, it pleases me, it gives me pleasure, but I love you so much that I want to do something for you. You know, I want to actually, we have Anu Krishna here, and she sent me such a beautiful message yesterday, and I want to share it because she's expressing that mood. She's saying she says here, it's not very often I have the pleasure. This is Anu Krishna, who's our hostess. It is not very often I have the pleasure of association with devotees and the opportunity to do service. I'm very happy you're here, and any service I can do would be greatly appreciated. Being here in Phoenix makes me feel so disconnected from the Mat and Krishna consciousness. Service really does fill my heart and makes me feel closer to Krishna consciousness.
There it
Like,
is.
so beautiful.
There
I
it
mean, your
is.
message touched me so much, Anu Krishna. It's like you appreciate Krishna consciousness so much that you want to do something about it, you know, and because she was asking me, can I help with the program tomorrow? And I was kept saying, oh, don't worry, me and Chintamani will take care of it. We'll do the cooking. And I kept saying, she kept asking me, and I kept saying, and then she sent me this message like, I really want to make it clear. Like, I really want to help. Like, you know, this really means a lot to me, you know, like it's not just a sound bite, you know. So I really appreciated that.
That's not the normal, because most of us are impersonalists, which means we're philosophers, because there's so much philosophy. So we've just immersed ourselves in philosophy. And it's quite a leap to go from first to give up exploitation, and then to give up that renunciation idea, and then to go to devotion, service. Like there's 3 prongs. So to get that concept of service, like I like
What
you,
are the 3 prongs?
exploitation,
Uh-huh.
renunciation,
Right.
impersonalism, because you haven't, you can achieve Brahmabhutsa, you can become joyful, but to make that leap between impersonalism and personalism means service. You're not going to die, you want to live, and you live through doing something.
Yeah.
So I think that's a devotee speaking, because it's a significant stage. It's not normal. Normally, Swami Maharaj says it's impersonal. Every 99.9%, we have an impersonal conception of life. But when you start to think, do something for another, those are symptoms of an attraction to the devotional life. And the devotional life begins with the load. After self-realization, devotional life begins with the lotus feet of the Lord. What will you do? Don't sit in your room all day. I know that Gurudev did not like that tendency of mine, because I came from meditation. I started meditating, I was like 9. And that was my life. I was very much interested in just sitting there and feeling my oneness with the universe. And it took me a long time to realize this is not going to fly. It took me to about 3 years ago to realize, you know, when I got some heavy treatment in one of our communities. And then it started to shake me and wake me up in a very deep core level. We can end up as trees. That's a reality. That sitting, that meditation, that vibing with the universe, you can become a tree. Because you'll go so deep into meditation, you don't move.
You know, Gurudev said that actually about the trees on the ashram in Brazil. You remember Govindana that he said there are these special trees and their branches go up like, and Gurudev said they're sadhus in meditation. That's what Gurudev said, exactly what you're saying.
I was headed in that direction. If I hadn't, been jolted.
Does anyone want to add any comments here? We've had a few nice comments in our chat. Does anyone here want to share any more thoughts on our discussion? Or I did have another question as well. Suyash Prabhu, were you about to say something?
Yes, sorry, I didn't come in the early sessions. I don't know if you got any answer for my question about Brahma and Brahman.
Oh, your question before. I did ask Lily, your question was about if there's a relationship between Brahman and Lord Brahma. And I did ask Lalita Madhava about that. And he said, yes, it is the same root. But he said he would to give, there's Chinta. Can you let Chintamani
Yeah.
in, or can she come in easily here? Okay.
I think Brahman, the effulgence of the Lord. Is that the
Yeah.
Brahmajyoti? Is that the
It's the
thing?
same thing. Yeah. Yeah, we
Can
did. Yeah.
you,
Yeah. So Suyash
can
was
you
asking if
just,
there's a, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Govinda Nandini.
yes, I was just gonna ask you to explain his question better, so we could understand.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, so Suyash Prabhu had asked if there's a relationship between Lord Brahma, who's the creator, the engineer, and the Brahman, or also it's very confusing too, because here's Chintamani Devi. Come pull up a chair. Come pull up a chair. You can move up. We can all fit in here. Oh, come in.
Oh, me come in?
Yeah, come in. Can all fit in here. It's very confusing because Lord Brahma, the person, it's the same spelling, but it's a long A at the end. And then Brahma, and I can't get the pronunciation down. It's to me, when Gurudev would say it, it always sounded like Brahma. I think it's the Bengali way of pronouncing it, Brahma. Then it's the same spelling, but with a short A. So Suyash Prabhu, but often in our books it's put as Brahman, which is another grammatical form of the word. And so Suyash was asking, like, is there a relationship? So I did ask Lalita Madhava, who's like our resident Sanskrit scholar, and he said, yeah, it comes from the same root. But he wasn't able, he said he would have to look into it to be able to give more detail on that. But it is coming from the same verbal root. You were correct, yes.
Actually, recently, unknowingly, I was reading. I had to write, like, since Nrsimha Chaturdashi is coming, so my service is to write like a short script for a drama, things like
You're
that.
writing a
So,
play for Nrsimha Chapter Dashi, you're saying?
yes.
Okay.
And I was reading some
Wonderful.
verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, and there Hiranyakashipu, when he called Lord, he was meditating, and Lord Brahma came in front of him. He addressed him as to be the Brahman. I don't know
Wait,
if that's
wait, who addressed who like that?
Hiranyakashipu addressed Lord Brahma as he is Brahman himself.
I see.
Yeah, I found that.
Interesting.
I was astonished seeing that, and I said, like, I had this question and it came to me like that.
I mean, one point here is that we do see sometimes that there is a custom of referring to very highly exalted, worshipable, respected persons with the Lord's titles. So like, for example, Bhagavan, some groups, they make like in our mission, we refer to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur with the title of Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the Supreme Lord, right? But in our Srila Sridhar Maharaj didn't practice it, but he did refer to him on some occasions like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, as Bhagavan. Bhagavan, because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's contribution has been so important, that he's honored with that title of Bhagavan. And then some missions, they've taken dispute with that. There were some missions who criticize our Gurudev, saying, oh, this is inappropriate. Bhagavan is only for the Lord. But our Gurudev pointed out, if you look in the scriptures, in Srimad Bhagavatam and other places, you will find that there is a custom, like Vyasadeva is referred to as Bhagavan. I believe Shukadev. I believe even Arjuna in one place.
Yeah.
You remember that is referred to as Bhagavan. So there is sometimes this custom in the Vedic culture of referring to highly respected persons with that title of Bhagavan. I mean, even Prabhu, Traditionally Prabhu was only used for the Lord, for Mahaprabhu, for Nityananda and Vaita, for your guru, right? But now it's been extended, because we're recognizing divinity within the individual. So there is a custom like that. So it doesn't surprise me so much, because I've seen something similar.
I was saying he addressed him as Brahman. Not,
Yeah.
I was not, yeah.
Yes,
Like
yes,
not
I'm following you.
specifically, yeah, Supreme Lord, but like, like Brahman, like
Right.
Brahma. It's like
Right.
Brahman.
Right, I understand. Yeah.
Isn't this example Suyash Prabhu is giving, isn't it similar to that verse that says, Yasyalinde Param Brahma, that the Lord, this is just an example. There are some verses that refer to Krishna as Brahma. Isn't it similar?
It's true. Yeah, there is. You do find that sometimes where the personality of Godhead is referred to by his impersonal effulgence. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes there are a few places like that where, there is this broadness in the Vedic culture. Like sometimes Atma actually means Paramatma. Sometimes Atma normally means like the individual soul, but sometimes Atma is actually referring to Krishna. There's one famous verse in the Upanishads, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Namedaya Nabu, what's it? Namedaya Nabu. You know that verse, yeah. Nashutena. So it's saying how the Supreme Lord, he cannot be known by your empiric abilities. He cannot be known by your hearing, by your study, by your speaking. But what is the important line? Tas labhyas. Tasyaita. What is it? Nayam Atma Parachanena Labhyo Namedaya Nabahuda Nashutena. I've forgotten the most important lines, but saying that whoever wants to know him, yeah, sure. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo in the Veda base.
Tasya Atma Vivrinutetanum Swam.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Nabahuna Shrutena Yam Evaisha Vrinutetena Labhya Tasya Atma Vivrinutetanum Swam.
That's it. So who he wants to know him, they will know him.
Revelation. It's the revelation. That's a hard concept for us to get.
Yeah.
The descent. Theism begins with the descent.
So you see there, so that verse, the word is Atma. The word for the Lord there is Atma. So there is this kind of broadness in the Vedic culture, where sometimes Atma means Krishna, sometimes Brahman means Krishna, So yeah, I remember once I came in Brahma Samhita. I never looked at the reference yet, but I remember when I came across something like that in Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma was referred to as Brahman. I was also really puzzled and really surprised. Like, what is this? And then I remember I asked it to Janardhan Maharaj, and he brought it to Gurudev. And I seem to remember Gurudev answered that it was a custom. It was some type of a custom. But now I'm a bit more familiar with all these conventions, and I see it's kind of common. There is a lot of broadness here. And which is interesting, because it also leaves room for a lot of impersonalism, right? Like if you want to go the impersonal route, there's a lot of evidence to back it up.
I was just going to interject and say, Gurudev said once, a scholar can take a Ganges full of scriptures and make an argument. And it's like in the study of law. In the study of law, it's like that's their expertise, is to find an argument, like just make an argument. And that's the danger of scholarship, because you have a Ganges full of knowledge, so you can construe meaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that intellectual plane is dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why we follow in the footsteps of our spiritual master. If he said it, then that's partly what Shari, we follow. If he said it, we say it. That's our safe zone. Our spiritual master is our safe zone. Did he say that? How did he define it? So it's good to keep a very narrow route, very narrow, keep bringing it in. Like, it's like you eat if he gives you something to eat. If he says celebrate this day, the theism has to come to you. And we're so, our main danger is to be assertive, to grab something, to capture something. And for us to just receive, to get out of that tendency of capturing, because in our Krishna conscious practicing life, there's a lot to capture. Culture, society, so much we could go for and make it our own. And that's another type of exploitation. And it's actually a more sinister, dangerous and sinister and unpalatable type of exploitation. You can buy everything we need for Krishna conscious life on Amazon now. Take it home and set it all up and spend our whole life. So it's better to cultivate that receptive mood. Try to feel your way. If we don't like to go too much into the intellectual side, we want to go more into the surrendered side. Where does devotion be? This is why Prapanam Jivanamritam is our beginning book, our main scripture. It's such a, I'm not qualified to glorify that scripture, but surrender is our currency. We need to understand that. Surrender is our currency. We are infinitesimal. Gurudev says 14 million universes above, 14 million universes below. This should really be the tenor of our thought, to remind ourselves of our insignificance. Guru Maharaj says, if you just look at the sky, and what is that sky above your head compared to the town you live in? So every day we should make a daily practice of looking at the sky and feeling that insignificance within us. We should feel our vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's really our strength. Feel it. Look at the sky and meditate on the sky. Because the most dangerous thing for us is that backyard power. There's a saying in war, like, oh yeah, he's powerful in his backyard. Because it's so easy to feel like a somebody. Rahu gets in there, the entity, we start to blow up.
I love that.
It's a statement of war. He's a great military in his backyard.
He's a great military strategist
in his backyard. You're somebody in your backyard, but who are you in front of the house? In front of, and it can keep going like that. It's like Swami Maharaj says, nuclear power is like a big deal in the world, but what is that compared to the sun? To a cosmic power, and the cosmic power to Krishna is insignificant. This should really be how we should be thinking. We should be thinking backwards, less, less, less. I'm less, become less. And then the glorification will come more slowly, slowly, slowly. Who are we? Someone said that once to Guru Maharaj. They said, oh, nuclear war, it's freaking me out. And Guru Maharaj looked at, and I was there and he said it. He didn't say freaking out, but he was like, oh, I'm terrified. And Guru Maharaj looked at him like, he turns his head and looks right through. He says, what of it?
You were there.
I was there.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, what of it? Like, what of it? But to the world, that's he says it's a point on a line and a line on a plane. Like the geography of the cosmos, of this universe, the next universe. It's like when Lord Brahma went to go see Krishna, and he said, the gatekeeper said, Lord Brahma is here. And Krishna said, which Lord Brahma? And Lord Brahma thought, this idea of being the be all end all in our backyard extends to Lord Brahma. It goes all the way, it's a material concept. So he said to Lord Krishna, which Lord Krishna said to gatekeeper, which Lord Brahma? And Brahma's taken aback. Swami Maharaj tells this story quite nicely, and he said, it's every story. But he said, I thought I was the only one. He was bewildered. And then Krishna showed before him Brahmas with 10 heads, 20 heads, 100 heads, 1,000 heads. And then Lord Krishna appeared and said, you were saying? Like, he appeared like, oh, all shocked, very like, what were you saying? Which Brahma? And he's like, oh. And there's like 1,000-headed Brahmas before him. We just have to get over ourselves. That's our main work. Get over yourself. Everything in you doesn't belong to you. Your body, nothing is yours. It's like I am God. It's a little bit true, but you are meant to be the little bit servant of that.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
And actually, just complimenting, at the same time, this whole thing that Mahaprabhu came to give, this whole concept, Mahaprabhu's concept of Achintya Beda, right?
Yeah.
So, and Lalita Madhava
That is
Prabhu,
such I'm so glad you said that verse, Didi. Sorry to interrupt you. Please go on. Sorry to interrupt. Exactly, that verse is so key.
And this Achintya being inconceivable, this inconceivable unity and difference, it's given by him, by the Lord.
Yes.
And at the same time, as you said, we are Advaitins. We are also cultivating this oneness of God, but this is defined by him. And when we stay in our position to receive, really, to be ready for his mercy, we are kind of like getting ready, trying to getting ready for this inconceivable. It's inconceivable, just.
Gurumar, exactly. Gurumar said, when you get to the shore of your material life, in some ways it's laudable, and in some ways it's nothing.
Right.
We think it's a big deal. He says, but to get out of the forest and to find your identity, and you're on, this is a real thing. Now you're on the shore of your material existence.
It's actually just the beginning.
Exactly.
He said it to me. He said, you're out of the woods. You're on the shore of your material life. So in some ways it's laudable, but in some ways it's nothing.
Exactly.
Because you see, when you have self-realization, that's a real experience. You sit outside and you actually literally feel, I've had this experience, it's a real feeling. You feel one. I thought it was just a hippy-dippy festival expression, the hippie festival, but it's real. You can feel a oneness, that there's no separation with life. This is a Brahman realization. I'm one. I'm merging with all of life. But Guru Maharaj says this is only the beginning. This is where your spiritual life, the devotional life begins. But to get to that point of oneness is a hell of a lot of pain and suffering and difficulty. If we survive, Guru Maharaj says, if you can survive that, that doesn't put you in a mental hospital. Try to get through that stage first. You get there through that. He said, if you survive, because that's you. When you start to uncover and break down, and your system is falling apart, that's usually when people give up. They say, "I'm kind of done. I don't really want spiritual. I think I'll go watch Netflix, smoke some weed." It's what he says. He says, if you survive that. Because you have to uncover everything that's in that black bag. Everything has to be dealt with. Every conversation that you've had in the last 300 years may come back to haunt you. Like, it's real. It is real. I've had this experience. Things that happened to your ancestors will start to show themselves in front of your face. You're like, what the heck are you doing here? Like, that black bag is real. That impression, those memories. It's a very painful situation to go through. Self-realization is no joke. And most don't survive it. That's why Gurudev says it's very rare to leave the material world, because it's a painful, but if you survive that, and now you're at the shore, now you're ready, now you cultivate Krishna consciousness, and through situations like this, through hearing, through chanting, you become qualified to gain association. Gurudev said you have to qualify yourself. Association is not everybody doesn't qualify. And it comes through hearing, through chanting. We have to, the material life is dust, it's dirt. You have to, because I'm in the thick of it here. In the morning I wake up, sometimes I put on Krishna book, I'm like, who are you? Like, I'm like, because your ear, like Guru Maharaj says, the hearing, you taking an evil, you really feel like you've been polluted. It's not like when you live in the temple and that's all you do, but when you're living these two lives, like many people are, it takes a little adjustment. It becomes more and more critical that we hear, that we chant, that we associate. We have to cultivate. That's after the Brahman realization. Then it starts to become real. Swami Maharaj says we become acquainted with Krishna. Like we think it's real before Brahman realization. Guru Maharaj is saying it's real after. After. Until then, until you have self-realization, Guru Maharaj says you're held under suspicion. You are in a suspicious position. The keys will not be given to you. Hare Krishna.
Oh, that was just phenomenal. That was phenomenal.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Very special meeting with Vishakha, and very special, really. Very nice strength we had here today. Very good.
And anyone wanna? We're just coming up to the end of our slot for today. Does anyone wanna share any final thoughts or comments? Chintamani Devi, our hostess is here in person.
Jagannath!
Get the nectar collection here, hardcore in Arizona. See you all soon, hopefully.
All right, everyone.
Thank you so much for this insight. That was wow, I am very inspired. Thank you so much. And
well, I think we should see that we're in this together. Thank you is like a business expression. So we want to see that we're in a family, that we are supporting each other, that we need each other. I think it's very important to cultivate that sense of togetherness. That we're family, we're going to work it out, that we are together in this. It's a togetherness. And Gurudev,
thank you, Vishakha, for saying this.
That we look after each other, that we care for us. We may come to blows, we may have difficulties, but we're family. And Gurudev, we have to keep that spirit. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past, what happened. We still have to be together and come closer together as a unit. We are in this together. I'm with you. It's like,
Hare Krishna.
you know how much Gurudev was there for us. We don't know what we look like to him. And what do we look like to Srila Gurudev? He didn't put those glasses on. He's like, if I look too closely, it won't be good for you. So it's like that. We should be each other's midwife. I'm there for you. I'm here for you. No matter what we're going through. And that if you've tasted Krishna consciousness by his grace, you'll have that attitude. That's a symptom. Guru Maharaj says that's a symptom. If you've had something has been given to you from the higher worlds. You want to support others. You want to do something for others.
Jai, Devi, Jai, Devi, Jai, Jai,
Jai,
Jai, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, all the assembled seekers ki Jai. Thank you all so much for joining us, giving us your wonderful company, and look forward to next time. Hari Bol.
Jai.